This is another video brought to you by the Ichiban Productions. Like, comment, subscribe. So welcome everyone, happy days are here again. We're back with another tech review. This time we're looking at the Samsung portable SSD T7. And I know what you're thinking Ichiban, you've already reviewed that. Yeah, I sort of did. I bought exactly the same model for my PS5. So this time I bought a brand new one. Let's try it out with the Series X and find out, is it worth it? So I got this bad boy off Amazon. It was only 56 quid delivered next day. And I know that sounds cheaper than my old one, but this one's only a 500 gigabyte. The reason I don't need a whole terabyte of action is I've actually got two of these. Now you'll recognise these. These are the official expansion cards as sold by Microsoft and Seagate. Plug in the back, basically operate exactly the same as the memory and storage inside the Series X. Same speed, same everything. So why did I get this one, I hear you ask? Well, here's a little bit of a story. I got one of these to play an old Xbox One game that I have loads of DLC downloaded on my Xbox One X, and that's Rock Band. I've got tons of DLC and I have absolutely zero intention of re-downloading all of that on my Series X. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up to my Xbox One X, transfer all the data across to the hard drive, and then plug that straight into my Series X so I can play a bit of Rock Band Next Generation. Now, I need to point out straight away, this won't play Series X optimized games, so all the next gen games, it won't play with all the next gen features in. It will play old Xbox One games directly from it. I believe you can store Series X games on here, but they won't play, a bit like on the PlayStation. But what this will do is it will play straight plug in and play Xbox One games. So that's why I got it, but I thought what I'd do is a review, a quick unboxing, and then let you know what the speeds are, what the transfer speeds to and from this, what's the transfer speeds from the Xbox to the memory card in comparison, to know how much slower is this compared to that, even though I know you can't play Series X or Series S optimized games from this, but I thought it'd be a nice comparison to see, is this a cheaper alternative? Because let's face it, 56 quid, 220 quid, so this is a cheaper alternative if you can get away with it. The other thing I was very interested in is the load times for the games. So if the old Xbox One games, I wonder whether they'll load as quick from an external SSD drive than it will do from an internal one. I mean, theory says no, but in terms of it being optimized, I wonder if it makes a difference or not. The biggest thing to keep in mind is obviously the external expansion card that has about a 2.4 gigabyte per second transfer speed. This one, on the other hand, is only 1050 megabytes, so it's about a gigabyte transfer speed. So I'll be interested to know, is there a big difference between the internal storage loading times and the external storage load times? Anyway, that's enough of the talk. Let's crack this bad boy open and see what's inside. Boom, cheeky cut. I have pre-cut the seal so we can get in nice and easy. Before we do that, quick look at the front of the box. So it's the blue drive I got. Why did I go for the blue one? Yes, it's because it's cheaper. It is a T7 drive, not the T5. T5 again is cheaper, but the transfer speeds are slower. I think the T5 is 500 megabytes a second, something like that, whereas this is double, as close to a gigabyte a second. I did the 500 gig model, not because I want to store loads of stuff on here, basically want to keep Rock Band, but it make a nice comparison video. On the side of it, we've got the 3-year warranty, makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. The box contents. We've got a USB-C to A and a USB-C to C cable, which is good, because of course the Xbox doesn't have a USB-C port, so it's going to have to be USB-C to USB-A. On the back, we've got more details about the important things. I mean, look at all those logos. Don't they make you feel safe? And on the other side, we've got the dimensions of the hard drive. We've got the transfer speed, which you can see there. So that's the read speed, the write speed. I mean, the USB 3.2 is up to 10 gigabytes per second. It can't go that fast, unfortunately. And there we've got the reliability, password protection stuff, which I'm not really interested in because it's going straight into the Xbox. So let's get it open and have a closer look. It's always a treat opening these because I always end up opening them the wrong way and then they go smash onto the floor and they get damaged and all that. So let's have a look. Am I going to open it the right way? Oh, I'm going this way for it. Oh, I completely forgot. Even though I unboxed this, I mean, it's probably about 6 months ago. I forgot it was a box in a box. I don't think there's a box inside this box, but let's open the box that was inside the box. And here we go. We've got the Samsung drive. It's a nice metal exterior. I love the blue on it. It's a really nice colour. And I keep forgetting about how small and how portable this actually is. USB-C port there. And we've got the light port there to show when it's being read when it's going to be read and written to, so you don't just pull it out. Warnings on the side, pretty typical thing. Like it or not, it's a real nice looking drive in my opinion. Underneath, if my memory serves me right, are the cables. No, it doesn't serve me right. It shows you what's there. So let's get that open there. And here we go. We got a box inside the box. I was absolutely right. So that's the box inside the box inside the box. And I think we got our instructions, our 2 sets of cables, and there. I ain't gonna bore you by looking at that because we know readings for prisoners. If you're that interested, look at my old video. But here we go. We've got the cables there. So you're going to need this one for your Series X. It's a USB-C which will go into the hard drive, and the USB-A that's going to go into the Series X or your Xbox, whichever one you're buying it for. The C to C unfortunately isn't going to be used, so let's get that out of the way. And there we go. What a beautiful combination. I just can't get over how nice that blue is. Boom, cheeky cut, and we're back. So I've learnt something already which I'll share with you guys. So if your Xbox is in rest mode or off and you plug the hard drive in via USB and turn it on, it isn't going to recognise it. So all you need to do is make sure your Xbox is on, plug it into the USB port. You can do the front or the back, it's up to you. I've done the back. I think it feels better. You can tuck it away so you don't see it. And then this pops up, so I'll show you what to do next. So you've got 2 choices. You can either format it for media use, which means you can plug it in and take it out and plug it into a computer and be able to access the files, or you can format it as a storage device, which is what we want to do. So click format as a storage device, set up what you want to call it. So I'm going to call it exactly what it is there, and then I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click that, and then install new items here. So I'm going to keep it to my current location, and I'm going to manually move stuff back and forward because, of course, like I said, this external SSD, I won't be able to play next-gen games on it. You can store them, but you can't play them. So really, you want them to install to the internal memory and then just have the old Xbox One games that aren't optimized on the SSD to save a bit of space. So keep current location for me. So when you're ready, you click Format, Format Storage, and boom, it is done. As quick as that, and it's ready to go. So let's check out some transfer speeds and some load times to see, is it any good? Boom, cheeky edit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out those transfer speeds. So I've gone for a Xbox One game, so it's not Series X or next gen upgrade or anything like that, or enhanced. So this is a standard game, so technically it should run from the external hard drive. So step 1, let's see how long it takes to transfer. So click it. Let's go to move, and we're going to move it to the external hard drive, and then what we'll do is see how long it takes to move it back. So step 1, let's see how long it goes. Next test, so this is the Witcher on the external SSD. Let's see how long it takes to move it to the internal storage, and then let's check it to the expansion card. So internal storage, move in from the external to the internal. Let's go. So we've moved it from the internal drive to the external SSD drive. I want a comparison time to figure out how long does it take to move from the internal SSD to the official expansion card, which is way more expensive. I want to know how much quicker is it to transfer. So let's find out. So this is moving from the internal storage, okay, to the storage expansion card, which is way more expensive. The transfer speed's almost double. Well, in fact, it's slightly more than double. So technically, it should be way faster. So let's find out how much quicker is it actually. So timing it there is a significant difference. So to move it from the internal SSD to the external SSD, the Samsung drive, took 2 minutes 35 seconds-ish. Whereas moving it from the internal SSD to that expansion card, the Seagate expansion card, was only 1 minute 43 seconds. So it's about a minute difference between the two. So it is significantly faster transferring it across. So last thing we've got to do is figure out how much quicker is it to move from that card back to the internal SSD. Next test, And the final comparator for the transfer speeds is how long does it take to transfer from that Seagate expansion card back to the internal drive, so we can figure out how quick that Samsung does it in comparison. So we're moving from the external Seagate drive, let me get it right, the Seagate drive, the £220 one, back to the internal drive. So let's see how long will it take to move it back. Let's find out. So the results are in. It's quite fascinating, actually. I mean, literally I've not changed anything or messed with anything. I'm calling it as I sees it. Okay, so to transfer from the card to the internal drive took 1 minute 33 seconds. Now that's really interesting, because the transfer from the internal to the card, it was 1:43. That means it was 10 seconds quicker to transfer it from the card to the internal than it was from the internal to the card. I mean, that's really interesting. But I think the figure that you're probably going to be most interested in. Okay, so the time it takes to transfer from the external SSD to the internal, so from the Samsung drive to the internal, was bang on 3 minutes. So from the card to the internal was 1 minute 33 seconds. So it's effectively twice as quick to transfer from the card to the internal than the SSD. So that is a significant saving of time. So what I'm going to put on next is I'm going to put on the loading times. So let's find out how much quicker does it take. How much quicker is it to load from the Samsung drive than it is from the internal drive? Let's find out. Next test we're going to do is we're going to see how long does it take to load a game of The Witcher. So currently this is installed on the external SSD. So let's see how long it takes to load the game, and then let's compare it to the internal one. So load and start the timer. Now. That was pretty quick. I mean, to be fair, I'm used to playing The Witcher on the Switch, so that was pretty quick. So let's see, and let's compare and see how long did it take on the internal drive. So we've now got The Witcher installed on the internal SSD, so we're going to need to see how quick is that loading time. So load game, same load point as before. So let's see how long does it take to load. Get ready, go. It's quick. I reckon that's pretty close. I don't know what the difference is yet, so let's let me time it and let's see how close it actually was. So comparing the two, I can't actually believe it. So the internal load time, so loading from the internal SSD was 7.92 seconds, but loading from the external SSD was 6.94 seconds. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's literally a second quicker from the external drive. I mean, that don't make no sense, but the facts and the figures are there, so you can time it. You know, I pressed it literally as soon as the screen flicked over. That is a turn up for the books. So to finish this video, we are back home. If you watch my earlier videos, you'll recognise the lovely stool we've got in the living room. So it's like I've returned home just to finish this video off. So, quite a comparison. So let's recap those facts and figures, the bits you were interested in. So let's talk about transferring from the internal drive outwards. So to transfer 40 gigs from the internal drive to the external drive here took 2 minutes 35 seconds. However, to the card, it took a measly 1 minute 43 seconds. So there's about a minute difference in it. So if transfer speeds are important, that's a significant difference. On the other hand, transferring back is where you're going to get the biggest gains here by having the card as opposed to the external hard drive. So to transfer it back from the external to the internal one on the Xbox, it took 3 minutes exactly, whereas to go from the card back to the internal, it was 1 minute 33 seconds. So it was pretty much twice as quick than this one was. So, you know, if it's about moving stuff backwards and forwards regularly, you're going to be way better off with the card than the SSD if you're happy to fork out the money. The comparison that did surprise me the most, however, was the load times. So I look at this and I think to myself, should I have done the test loads of times, to check it multiple times? I don't know. I've done it once in real time, so no messing about. It's fully legit. So to load the Witcher 3 save from the external Samsung drive, I took exactly 6.94 seconds, so 7 seconds. However, to load it from the internal drive on the Xbox, it took 7.92 seconds, so 8 seconds. So there was a whole second faster on the external SSD. I mean, go figure. I guess it's something to do with the fact that the Witch is not optimized for Series X, so it can't take full advantage of stuff, and it seems to be, you know, transferring faster off that. But that's quite interesting. What does that mean for you guys, though? I think if you're going to use an external SSD to run original Xbox games, you know, getting a cheap SSD like this for 50, 60 quid is way better value for money than getting a memory card like that. However, the big caveat here is this won't play next-gen games, so any Xbox Series X or S enhanced games can't be played off this. It can be stored, but not played. So if you just want to play old last-gen games on your next-gen console for load times and stuff, this is absolutely fine. You're not going to lose anything. In fact, it turns out you actually gain something. So if you're just looking to play old Xbox games, yeah, this is going to be absolutely fine. If you're looking to play next-gen games off a memory card, you're going to have to go for that bad boy. There is no alternative to that. However, if you're looking about transferring stuff back and forwards and moving your files back and forth and stuff like that, I would probably have to go, I'm going to have to go for the Seagate. Time is money. And obviously they charge more for that. But for me, I don't want to be waiting around all that time. This was significantly slower to transfer stuff backwards and forwards. Transfer data backwards and forwards than that one was. So if you're transferring stuff backwards and forwards and looking for storage, you're going to need to go for the Seagate. If you're just looking to play the old last gen games and getting them done quick, this is going to be more than adequate. So with that in mind, I'm going to need to put a star rating on this bad boy, because it wouldn't be a review without one. So what's the star rating going to be? So I'm going to judge this one because it's an interesting predicament. I always try and judge this on the purpose that I bought it for. So for me, I bought this to play Rock Band, you know, a last gen game on the Series X. So for me, I'm going to give this one a 5 stars out of 5 stars. For me, the price is exactly where I want it to be. 50, 60 quid, 56 pounds is exactly what I paid for it. You know, the transfer speeds is not what I'm interested in. It's the speed of playing the game, because I'm only going to transfer the games once. I'm not going to be moving it backwards and forwards, so that's not too much of an issue. But the load times seem lightning quick on this, as quick as the internal SSD, so therefore serves the purpose exactly as I wanted. To finish, I just want to say a massive personal thank you to each and everyone who subscribed to my channel. If you enjoyed the video, press the subscribe button. I'm on about 210 subscribers, and it might not sound a lot to you, but it really means the world to me. To think that 210 people have seen a video and thought, I want to know more. I want to see more of the Ichiban Productions. It's overwhelming and amazing. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a cheeky thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up means that more people can see it, more people can enjoy it, and hopefully give better informed decisions, and ultimately, in the very long run, save you some money. If you got any comments, questions, or anything, please post them in the comment section below. I always reply to each and every comment. I love reading them. I love waking up and seeing the comments and the questions and replying. Just people who engage with my content. It makes it all worthwhile. So, you know what I'm going to say. Look after yourselves, take care of the people around you, and most importantly, stay out of trouble.